Well, good evening. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to a Friday night edition of Get Real with Rick Dancer. We don't normally do Friday night shows, but to be really quite honest with you, I'm just getting so dang busy that it's like crazy. So I'm just fitting shows in anywhere I can get them, sometimes 2 times a day. This is brought to you by Eugene Mindworks, and Eugene Mindworks is a office space, but it's even more than that. They have conference rooms. I have my office here. They also have desks you can rent by the month. So it's really optional, especially for things right now with COVID and coming out of COVID the way we are. It's a way to kind of ease back into the business world. Kind of ease back into getting out of the house once in a while, just a little bit, you know. And so one of the people who also rents a desk here for kind of a different reason this is Arthur Shaw. I bring him in. Where are you located right now, Arthur?
I'm actually in Spokane, Washington.
So why do you have an office space in Eugene, Oregon?
Well, it's because the name of our company is called Prime Trade Northwest. It's a franchise of a national barter company called ITEX, and we own multiple franchises in Seattle, Portland, Eugene, Tri-Cities, Washington, Boise, Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Spokane, Washington. So when I get on the road, I need an office in Eugene. So that's why I have an office at Mindworks.
So what is this kind of, I mean, it's an old idea, the concept of bartering.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys, I mean, that's how things used to be done. I give you a few chickens, you give me some carpentry work, and on it goes. But we got away from that. How is ITEX kind of getting us back in that?
Well, ITEX started in 1982. It doesn't quite go back to the caveman era, but
almost.
It goes almost. 1982. That's a long time ago. But today the ITEX barter community transacts with a mobile app. And so instead of paying each other in cash, they go to their smartphone, download the ITEX mobile app, and pay, for each other's services and products with the mobile app. So
do you do it different ways? Like, kind of show people how would that work? So if I'm a carpenter, and who would I trade with, and how does that? Because you have lots of people involved in this.
Yeah, there's almost 20,000 members across the United States. Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Is it all barter, or some money is passed by, or is that negotiated out? And how does that work?
Well, everything under $5,000 is 100% ITEX barter currency. So, say for instance, say Nancy over at the Pony House Inn in Springfield, a member called me from California a couple of days ago and was coming through the Eugene area and said, "Hey, is there any place for me to stay and use my ITEX dollars in the area?" And I said, "Yeah, give Nancy a call at the Pony House Inn." So
Lance is on here and he says, "I trade my photography all the time." He's out of Portland.
Okay.
So this is so if somebody else is already doing that, like a Lance, let's say, how would you benefit him? You'd connect him into that group?
Yeah, because it's a network, right? We're a network of almost 20,000 business owners. One of my members down in Southern Oregon, he's been in barter for 40 years. And I said, "Well, why are you an ITEX member? You've been doing direct barter, just the old, trading something for another service for years. Why would you want to be part of a barter exchange?" And he said, "It enhances my barter experience."
So how popular is this now? Because I get people now, this Penny's on here. She said, "May surprise you, I've been doing this in Yoncalla for 15 years.
Awesome. Yeah, well, ITEX has been around. It is the largest barter exchange in the United States. But it's been around for, even before ITEX started, there were other, barter exchanges that have been around for years.
So how do you guys get paid? So do people pay a fee to be a part of the program?
Yeah. It's a membership-based organization. So we have 13 cycles per year in our ITEX fiscal year, and all the members pay a $30 membership fee to ITEX Corporation. And it comes out of their credit card or their bank account, every 4 weeks. They also pay a 6% cash transaction fee for every dollar of business that we send them. And then when they go to spend the currency out of their account, they pay a 6% cash transaction fee.
Why do you think it's so effective in bartering?
I think the reason why it's so effective is that, business owners, they want to build their business. They want more contacts with more business owners. And so they say, okay, well, there's no cost to join. So there's no long-term contract. So I'm just going to sign up and see whether I get one of these ITEX customers. And so they try it out. Like, for instance, the Roosevelt Inn in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, signed up years ago, probably 15 years ago. And they started with zero in their account. And we've sent them over $400,000 worth of business.
So for me, like if you had I needed sheetrocking done in my house,
Right.
I could go to you and you say, hey, Rick, I've got, a couple of contractors in your area. They can do sheetrock, and then I can do some promotion for them. And I mean, I kind of do some of that. I mean, with certain things that I do, but I really like the idea because it seems more relational.
It is huge. This is, people just don't pay their $20. Have you ever signed up for something online where you pay $20, $30 a month and you never hear from the person who signed you up. You don't really know what you're spending the $20 to $30 a month on. And our members know each other really well, because some of them have been, trading their services and products together since 1982.
So Cindy says bartering can be a community building experience.
Absolutely. We try to do ITEX mixers, prior to COVID. I try to do once a month a mixer where ITEX members get together and we share a meal together, and we'll do it in different places. Maybe we'll do it over at Pig and Turnip. Shield Catering is one of our members. Maybe we'll do another mixer at the Pony House Inn, or we'll do a mixer like one night at Mindworks. We did a mixer there. And the community gets to come together and, get to know each other, explain what they do, trade a business card with each other.
Do you think that bartering will be even more popular now that we've been through the COVID thing? Because we had so little relationship, I mean, people are starving for networking and getting back, and networking really is the heart and soul of business, a small business. Don't you think?
Absolutely. It was, I went to my first live networking event in Spokane here about a month ago. And oh my God, people were elated. They were just, the energy in the room was just, people wanted to talk to each other. They wanted to shake each other's hands and give each other a big hug. And, because they hadn't seen anybody for the last year, so.
So did your organization do better? And I don't mean like financially. I just mean, was it because you filled, if I can't go to my networking meeting, I mean, a lot of networking groups, I think, had to do it on Zoom, and that's, I don't think that works very well, but you've got this program. And now do you think coming out of it, this is going to be people going, I've got to have more connection because I lost a year of really doing what I do.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. We have about 60 ITEX brokers across the country, and we've been talking over the last year. And as soon as the gates open, which they're starting to open in all the states are opening up, our business is just going to explode.
So why do you do what you do? What is it about you? Not looking to sell ITEX. I just mean you personally, Arthur. Why does this work for you? You're part of it?
That's a really good question. We all have to have a why in life. What's our purpose? We all have to pay our bills. Of course, we want to make sure that whatever we're doing for a job is paying our bills. But it's so much more than that for me. Like I just spent a month on the road visiting my clients throughout the Pacific Northwest, and it was just a joy to get together with them and get to know them and their families, and ask them about their business and how I could help them grow their business. That's my why. That's the answer to my why. I just like helping people, period. So,
what did you learn personally from the reaction to COVID?
like in regards to business or?
How about personally, about yourself?
Oh, my personality type is I love to be around people. And it was hard for me with that type of personality to do stuff on Zoom, to be away from people. That's one of the big things that I learned, is that I have to be out there shaking hands and talking to people. And that's a big thing that I learned.
How does this make you better at your job, do you think?
How does it make me better at my job? Well, it helps me. I think COVID has helped me to think outside the box.
Right.
And when it comes to my internet presence, as far as my digital presence for Prime Trade Northwest, over the last 14 months, I've had a lot of conversations with graphic designers, web designers, social media managers, referral systems, sales systems, to be able to create a model that will help Prime Trade Northwest grow outside of networking in person. And that has been huge learning curve for me. So
how have you slowed down, Arthur? I mean, you know what I mean? How have you, I think for me, like it's really giving me pause to kind of go, here's something I've understood about myself is I am really fast to jump to go. And I think this is a good thing. When it came, I had to find new ways to do this. I couldn't be as much with people. StreamYard, this program on here, I was much more open to finding it, finding cameras, finding things to do things a little differently. And
right.
I didn't have the choice of really thinking it through to talk myself out of it.
Right.
And doing what I normally do all the time. It had to be like, okay, I want to be with people on the field doing this live thing. And this was the worst thing to me. And now I like doing it this way better because it's clearer. You can get in there. You know what I mean? And I think I'm trying to find positives because everybody talks all the time. And I tend to too about the negatives of what happened. But I think we all as business people learned that we are much more innovative than we thought we could be.
Right.
Do you find that with you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just, it's always amazing. We, as human beings, we get so comfortable in the patterns and systems that we're used to. I always liken humans to cats. If you want to try and figure out an individual cat, all you have to do is find out what their pattern is. Every cat has a different pattern, right? And I think we get caught in those patterns. And so, like this last year, I've learned to get out and create new patterns.
Now, Cindy says bartering can be educational as well, a great way to expand one's horizons and experience on trades and goods. Do you think if I and other people watching this knew how much you could barter for, it would rock our world?
It would rock. It would, I've seen it. I've seen it rock people's world. It's like, our members, and we're, one of 60 brokerages, our members alone in the last 4 weeks did $254,000 worth of barter.
What? Because I think one of the lies of life is that, $1 for $1, $50 for $50. We're so used to this green stuff, which
Right.
really the dollar has no value anymore anyway. And it's hard for us though as people to think contractor fixing sheetrock in Rick's home, turned around. I do 3 shows for him. This is how it works, and then you're even. And then to write, then, now wait a minute. Is this also a good thing about bartering? Is that I don't have to pay as much tax because you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Well, I always
if I'm trading things, or because I can't trade my value. Like if I want to give services to a nonprofit, there's no value. I can't write it off like that, because of what I do. But does that make it easier to write off if the sheetrock guy comes to me and is fixing my sheetrock and I'm giving him, $1,500 worth of shows, and we just trade it off? We don't have to write that up as, so Uncle Sam doesn't get to tax me on it.
Well, there's a couple of questions that I'll answer from your comments, and one is in regards to the tax implication of barter. That's always a question that comes up. Oh, I'm not going to get taxed on this. And, the IRS came to the barter industry in the late 70s and said, you guys can continue to do business, but you're going to have an accounting system that's going to, tie into people's EIN numbers or their social security numbers. So you do have to pay tax on the barter. Everybody gets a 1099-B for barter in January. And so you do have to pay tax, but it depends on how you spend your barter too. Some people spend it on business expenses, as well as they take some for personal income and use it for them and their family. So if you don't use it for business expenses, then you will pay taxes on it. It depends how creative you are with your accountant,
Yeah.
So
we're pretty creative. So Jason says, and I want you to, this is fun. Jason is a friend of mine. He's, how do you make money bartering? Or is that even the point?
Well, you make money. That is really the point, honestly.
Okay.
Like if I'm going to go to a hotel owner, right? Let's use a hotel owner as an example and say, what's your occupancy rate? And they say, well, right now during COVID, I'm 25 to 30%. Maybe, at certain times of the year from prior to COVID, say mid-September to mid-May, their occupancy rate was, or their vacancy rate was, 40%. Then that means that you have empty beds for sale. Once 5 o'clock comes today or tomorrow, and that day is gone, there's no recovering that time.
Right.
It's gone. It's lost. So that's the big win in joining a barter exchange, is that you can make sure that you get some revenue for that excess time or that excess inventory.
Right.
Fill that bed with a barter person, and then when 5 o'clock comes along, you have got some revenue for your for your surplus time that you have.
Is the biggest obstacle, Arthur, that you have like in your business is getting people over the hurdle of kind of, I'm so used to getting a check and in the, you know what I mean? That to me would be the hardest. And I bet once people get there, once you kind of make that brain switch, then you're like, oh my God, why wasn't I doing this my whole life? And that's how this feels to me, is like, and I'm still on this side going, because I understand some of that. When I go on, do our P&W backstory stuff on travel, a lot of times we'll trade out hotel rooms and stuff like that. So I get that concept, but to do it big scale like this, that's kind of interesting. And Jason says, build out a sales funnel.
Yes, that's part of what we do, is we help fill that funnel up. Maybe, that funnel is only 40% full. So, you join the network and we fill it by another 20 or 30%. We fill that funnel.
So how does somebody get started? I mean, what's the process here? Because it seems to me like you have to jump in before you really totally. You kind of have to get in the party before you understand,
Yeah.
what drinks and what people are doing here.
Yeah. That's totally what I tell everybody, because I would say that 99% of the people that I talk to about the ITEX barter exchange is they're so used to putting a credit card or greenbacks or writing a check for something that it's, again, getting back to the cats. They're so used to that pattern that it's hard for them to put two and two together.
Right.
So what I tell them to do is just jump in. Jump in. I don't charge anything for the membership. So it's free to join. There's no long-term contract. The fees are a $30 membership fee a month, plus a 6% cash transaction fee. Try it out, and you might be like, Beacon Plumbing in Seattle, one of my biggest customers in Seattle. They do, over $150,000 with the barter a year themselves as one member. So
Jason wants to know, is the exchange regulated?
You bet. Yeah, it is. It's regulated by the IRS. So every transaction has to be recorded, if that's what you mean, Jason. So,
well, Arthur, I am just kind of excited. I think this is really cool. And as we keep going on, I think, just in my mind, I think we're open to change now. I have to change with the times and kind of see what's going on. And I can't depend on the old system to make it work. And I think, just as you see things in the economy, you see gas prices going up, you see, where we're headed. I think barter is going to be a really great way to kind of take care of some things, a little off the beaten path. I know it's all recorded, and I don't mean secretly, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like, I may not be able to afford to do this, and somebody can come in and help me do that and work through it. I really like this idea.
We had or have a chain of gyms in California, and COVID hit the gym world really hard, really hard. And so, the gentleman had $70,000 in ITEX barter currency in his account, and some television advertising came available for trade. So in one day, he spent 35,000 of that 70,000 on television ads. He didn't have $35,000 in cash to do ads, so it was a no-brainer for him. He was so happy that he had that ITEX currency in his account. So
yeah, that's great. Well, so how did I put your phone number on? Is the best way to get a hold of you is to call you?
Yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is to call me, and then I will answer any of your questions that you might have. And the sign up process is simple. I can do it over the phone in probably about 10 minutes. And then once you sign up, we'll start marketing your company. We market your company on Facebook. We through a weekly newsletter, through telephone calls. We sell anything that you have. The only thing that we can't sell is marijuana and guns. Those things we can't sell, but we'll sell anything else.
I already know where to get that. Jason wants to know, do you guys do ERC20 currency or flat currency?
I don't know the definition of those.
So Jason, call him, because he's a great guy. And Jason, and by the way, Jason, you cannot sell your marijuana to him or your guns. I miss the barter fairs. It might be beneficial to build a local barter exchange.
We do have a local barter exchange in Eugene, Springfield, and it is growing. New Leaf Hyperbaric is a member. Mindworks, of course. Pig and Turnip. It's growing all the time. So
people can get a hold of you, and you can get them starting connected that way as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It would.
Um, so Jason will get a hold of you.
Okay.
Arthur, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Friday night with us, because I think that this is like something people can really grab onto. And I like it. So next time you're at Mindworks, come in and see me again.
Okay.
We'll come up with great ideas. Okay.
That sounds good. It's really been good. I appreciate your show, Rick. So
All
thank
right.
you.
Thanks, buddy. So there you go. Another new thing. I mean, not new. It's like an old thing, but with a whole new spin that gets us going. And it might be an option for some of you to build a bigger network here in Eugene, Springfield. Those are all people that I know that are already involved. And I think I need to look into this. So again, we are sponsored by Eugene Mindworks, and that's where my office is. You can rent offices that are private. You can also rent desks. So if you just want to get out a couple times a week, and the cool thing is with your membership is you have use of a conference room too, which if you are a business person, you know how hard it is to find a coffee shop that's not too noisy, or a place that has a space where if you have a meeting that you need privacy. And we have 3 different conference rooms, and you can use those. So it's a great opportunity. I love it because there's all kinds of people in here, and I can learn things and meet new people. And that's how I met Arthur. He just came popping down the hallway and came into my office, and we talked for way too long. I think I kept him way too long. But if you come into my office and you want to talk and you want to spend 10 minutes in here, good luck. I've never had a 10-minute conversation. Ask my wife. All right. It is Friday. Go enjoy yourself this weekend. It's going to be really sunny. On Monday, we have a super special show for you. 10 years ago, longer than that, 2009, I took my camera out. I heard about a barn down the road from my house where they had horses called Ride Able, and they were helping people with disabilities and different abilities ride horses, and that was helping them with their whole everything. And I met a little boy named George Beverly. He was 5 or 6 years old, on the spectrum, said maybe 3 words. And the other day I saw a post from his mom, and this kid is on the track team. He's doing great. And we're going to show you that old story. And then we're going to talk to George and his mom about don't ever stick people in a box and think they're going to stay there, because they'll fool you every time. So he's going to be on Monday. We're at Oregon Axe on Tuesday, where they, throw the axe. We're going to be over there with Dr. Bratlin's crew throwing axes. New Leaf Hyperbarics. We're going to be talking with NAMI, an organization that helps with people with mental difficulties and mental health. And they're going to be on, but we're also going to talk about how hyperbarics can also help with a number of different ailments, including autism. And then on Thursday, I'm going to do something kind of special. That's the night before the anniversary of the Thurston High School shooting. And rather than get people who were there to talk, I'm just going to play an old story. And then I'm going to tell you kind of my experience. And then you're going to come on and you get to tell me kind of what happened to you. So anyway, can I leave you with a little story? So I posted this on Facebook, but I'm going to just tell you anyway, because it meant something to me today. I'm kind of getting beaten up today because I put and it's not, don't feel sad for me. This is what I do. But we're taking out an ad with the back of the blue. We're going to be backing the blue. And I put a picture from the billboard that we're going to be doing, and getting hammered by people who, have their opinion. And so it was just one of those weird days. Somebody wrote a song even about what a dick I am, and which I'm honored. That's what I want to listen to, a song about what a piece of shit I am. But anyway, a couple days ago, a lady called me from a local store, and she said, I have a friend and she really loves watching what you do and you inspire her. And her birthday's on Friday. And would you by chance think about coming over and she would love to just get a picture with you. And it would make her day. She would talk about it for the rest of the year. So I said, okay, I want to make sure there's nothing creepy about this. She knows I'm happily married, right? I mean, you got to ask questions. She said, no, everything's good. So I went over there today and I called some of my clients. I called New Leaf Hyperbarics, and Matt gave me a coupon for her for a free treatment. I called the Hydrate Bar. She gave me a coupon. And I called Blue Valley Bistro, and they gave me a meal for her. And I went over, took her a birthday card. They had her, when I got there, all the employees came running out, and she was, off somewhere. She didn't know. And they all came out. They're going, Rick, thank you so much, for doing this. And I walked into the conference room. She looked over at me and she let out a little scream, and then she started to cry. And then we stood and talked and had pictures taken and all this kind of stuff. And, I walked out to my truck, and they gave me a bottle of wine for coming. See, there are good people in the world, there really are. And I think we forget that. And they gave me a bottle of wine. I took it out to my truck, and I got in my truck, and then I felt this little moisture on my face, and it was a tear. Because I need to remind myself that when you hear that small little voice in your head, that you listen. And what's really funny about all that is I went there to make her day, and she made mine. So write your songs about what a dick I am, and push me and prod me because you disagree with me, and that's how you do things. But you know what? This dick had a great day, despite you. Have a great weekend. I'm Rick Dancer, and life is what you make it.